Start recording now, yeah. Good morning, or whatever time of day. Probably not the morning. My tip today is about solder and how do you manage your solder when you're working on a workbench. So most solder these days comes in these convenient large bulk rolls, and this is like a typical solder workstation where you put your solder iron in, and they come with these little pegs that hold the solder roll. Now I don't find this particularly handy because the roll's all big and I keep dropping it and digging it and breaking it. As I work, I typically just break off a piece and use that, but then I run out, so then I want more solder. So my workaround for this, I found this is just the regular sewing machine bobbin for a sewing machine. And I don't have one of those, but I mean, if you go to the dollar store, you can just get these in packages of like 6 of them, very cheap. And then I just wind a bunch of solder on the little spool, and then it gives me this nice, easy to work with, no fuss, as much solder as I need. If I'm working on circuit boards or patch cords or surface mount things, I have the freedom to move my hands without having to drag this around. That's my tip for today. Hope you have fun, or good luck using it, whatever.